Introduction. On March 11th, the Austrian government was taken over by pro-German Nazis. On March the 12th, the next day, German troops were invited by the new Austrian government into the nation. On March 13th, Adolf Hitler officially announced the unification of Nazi Germany and Austria. This was met with very little resistance from the Austrian people overall. Some background information. Austria had been formerly a part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire before World War I. However, after the Treaty of Saint-Germain, the empire was dissolved and Austria became independent. However, it was prevented from unifying with Germany due to the Treaty of Versailles. This was against the wishes of the majority of Austrians who were ethnically German. Many hoped for eventual unification with Germany and had very little love for their new nation. In the interwar period, Austria suffered a large amount of political strife. The right-wing Heimwehr political party and the socialist left-wing Schutzbühel frequently clashed in a street battle. There was even a short civil war in 1934 where the socialists were defeated by the right-wing Heimwehr party. In July 1944, a group of Austrian Nazis tried to take over the nation, killing the Austrian chancellor. However, Hitler was prevented from taking over Austria by Mussolini, who at that point was not an ally of Hitler in Germany and was even wary of German and Hitler's expansionist agenda and wanted to keep Austria as a buffer state between Germany and his nation of Italy, so as to make sure Germany was not bordering Italy. However, and he even threatened to send his military. However, by 1936, Mussolini was an ally of Germany, forming what is commonly called the Axis, however, what was actually called the Pact of Steel. So, in February 1938, Hitler met with Austrian Chancellor Schuschnigg to discuss the future relationships between the two nations. Hitler threatened him for the entire meeting and made 10 demands. However, the most important demand was that the Austrian Nazi Seyss-Inquart will be made into the Minister of Interior. This would make him a very powerful man in the nation, as the Minister of the Interior is given control of the police and given control of the governing of a lot of internal matters of the nation. Schuschnigg ordered a plebiscite since Hitler had made it clear that he wanted Austria to unite with Germany. However, Hitler demanded that he resign as chancellor, and if he refused, Germany would invade Austria, since Hitler was afraid that the Austrian people would vote against unification and thus destroying his legitimacy in Austria. As a result of this threat, Schuschnigg and every other government minister resigned, except Seyss-Inquart, who invited the German army into Austria since he was the only government official left with any real power. The Allied response was overall very weak. Italy made no protests at all, while Britain and France did make protests through diplomatic channels. There was no real effort to enforce the Treaty of Versailles with military measures. This would become a part of the appeasement policy where concessions were granted to Hitler in order to avoid a war. The main reasons why the Allied response was quite weak was that Britain and France wished to avoid a military war confrontation with Germany. Since Germany had already begun to rearm, the Britain and France had only very recently begun to rearm, they believed that they were not actually capable of fighting a conventional war and winning with Germany. In addition, since America was practicing isolationism and wished to stay out of European affairs, they were also not confident that without American help, they would not be able to win against Germany, as in World War I, many thought that the only reason Britain and France were actually able to defeat Germany was because of American assistance. This played a major role in the thinking of the British and French politicians.